The Scramble is one of the ultimate car meets for automotive fans, located at the unique Bicester Motion Business Park in the United Kingdom. Once a Second World War Royal Air Force's bombing training station, the site was purchased in 2013 and the buildings delicately restored for businesses involved in the motoring world. The Bicester Scramble is a gathering point for thousands of automotive enthusiasts, and it provides one of the world's best displays of beautiful vehicles.
Here's Magnum PI arriving in his beautiful 1985 Ferrari 308. Perfection. This is a more modern example of Modena metal. It's the Ferrari 488. This one rolled out of the factory in 2018. Magnificent.
Killer plate.
This is an extraordinary sight. Limited edition Aston Martin Vanquish S Red Arrows.
Oh, I love the number plate, James.
Try and ignore these two.
The wait is finally over.
The idea of this project really is the ultimate expression of the Aston Martin aviation series. That project started off in 2015 with the V8 Vantage S Plate edition. 2016 marked the 80th year of this icon of British engineering. We wanted to celebrate this by building a specially commissioned Aston Martin to pay tribute to both the aircraft and the brave men and women who include them.
Welcome to RAF Scampton, the home of the Royal Air Force Aerobatics team, the Red Arrows.
The production of these 10 unique Vanquish S Red Arrow editions sees the bringing together of really two iconic British brands and provide an experience that few in the rest of the world could possibly match.
This is Vanquish S Red Arrows. You've got 38,000 pounds thrust out of 4 reheated London fire engines. Let's fly.
Now I'm live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bicester Motion. On behalf of Aston Martin Bristol, we're going to be spending the day telling you the story of the Aston Martins that are gathered here today on the reunion, the first reunion of the Aston Martin Wings Edition cars. My name is Phil Aiken. I've got the privilege of taking you through the stories today, and I was involved with two of the cars that are here today, the Blaze Edition and the Red Arrows Edition. Back in 2014, I was working with the Blades aerobatic team based in Sirewell in Northampton. On one particular summer's day, a team from Ray Mallock Limited were doing some straight line testing with a Le Mans car. Being interested in cars and motorsports, I'm sure many of you are, I went over to be a bit nosy and got chatting with the car designer, a guy named Darryl Scriven. And we got talking about cars, design and aircraft, and he looked at the Blaze aircraft and said, wow, I'd love to do something to make those aircraft look a bit racier. Well, 2015 was going to be the 10th flying season for the Blades. So at the end of 2014, we got in touch with Darryl and said, Darryl, we'd like to commission you to do a design of the aircraft. On the launch event in 2015, one of the team sponsors arrived at Sirewell with his Aston Martin wrapped to look like one of the Blaze aircraft. His guest on that day was the dealer principal of Aston Martin Cambridge. And that gentleman went on to become the author of the story of the Wings Edition Aston Martins. So please welcome to the stage, Simon Lane. Simon, good to see you. It must be incredibly exciting to see all these cars here today.
Yeah, it is really amazing. We've been working on this for months to get the cars together. And it's the first time that I've seen many of them since we handed them over. Particularly having the Spitfires here, all 8 of them, and a Spitfire flying in, which I hope everybody enjoyed. Really super cool.
Super cool. And tell us the story, because you arrived at Sirewell, a passionate aviator with family connections into the armed services. What began the conversation about the Blaze Edition Aston Martins?
You're right. I'm from a kind of an Air Force family. My dad's here somewhere today. Where are you, Dad? Put your hand up. Can't see him. Oh, there he is. So he was a fast jet pilot in the Air Force, and I grew up with that as a kid. And so I've always been interested in aviation and cars. And on the day that I came to fly with the Blades, I met Andy Offer, who was one of the co-founders of the team, former Red One. And I flew with Andy, and after we landed, we were talking about Aston Martins, and he said, I'd really love to have one for my 50th birthday, which is coming up.
That was about 30 years ago, wasn't it?
So we jumped in the car that I had with me, which was a Vantage V8, and we went out on the runway at Sirewell, and let's just say we had a fairly spirited drive up and down the runway. And I said to him, you know what, I think I could actually design a car that looks like your aeroplane. So I went away and briefed the team in Aston Martin that do bespoke cars, who are known as Q. And I came back about a month later with a set of renders of a car that looked like Andy's plane. And that's where the idea was born, really. We then talked about, wouldn't it be cool to do 5? And we make each one slightly different, so they're all paired with an individual aeroplane. And we use one of the Blade's corporate days as the handover experience for all the customers. And that's kind of where the whole thing started, really.
Fantastic. I remember all that kind of sequence, a series of events very well, and you'll see from all of the cars here today that it's not just a case of a limited edition being something that you slap a sticker on, or a spoiler, or a set of alloy wheels. Every one of these cars has intricate details designed and built into it. And over the course of the day, we'll tell the story of how that happened. But perhaps what were a couple of the things on the Blaze edition that were special to those?
Well, so I think obviously the colourway that's on the car, lightning silver with jet black, was a nice nod to aircraft, and the livery is obviously pays homage to the blades. In terms of content, they were fairly light, but the blades is where the idea started of pairing aeroplanes and cars. So when you look around all of the cars that we have here, they all carry an aircraft registration number, including the blades cars. So they were all paired specifically with an aircraft, and that made them quite unique. And it was the first time that we did the fly past of the aeroplanes over the cars, and we actually matched, if you remember, the serial number of the correct plane with the correct car, and that kind of fed into the other cars. As the ideas grew, and we did the Spitfire, the Red Arrows, and the Concorde, then we started to do things like remanufacture bits of aeroplane and put them in the cars. And in the case of, yes, we'll talk to you later, I won't spoil that.
I thought you were going to pick up.
Four cars with the Aston Martin Wings Edition series. We're going to continue the story for you this morning with a link to this wonderful aircraft that's over to the left of the stage, the Spitfire Edition. To tell us a bit more about the story behind this particular series of cars, please welcome back to the stage the gentleman with the wind beneath his wings, Simon Latham. Welcome back. Now we've got this wonderful array of cars, the first time in the Academy, 10 years since we did the Aston Martin Blaze Edition cars. We've got this incredible Spitfire aircraft, and we've got 8 Spitfire Edition cars. It strikes me that they're not easy things to go about creating, and as people have had the opportunity to look around, there's a lot of detail. But what were the challenges in creating the Spitfire Edition cars?
Well, the first challenge you come up against if you're going to use any kind of name on a car is who owns the intellectual property rights. So when we set out to create these 8 cars, 8 very special, highly detailed cars to celebrate 80 years of the Spitfire, which Aston Martin has a connection to because it made Spitfire cars back in World War II. When we did an intellectual property rights search, we discovered the name Spitfire. A kind of strange coincidence. But the reason that BMW owned the name Spitfire is for those of you who, like me, have a few grey hairs may remember that in the early 1990s The Rover Group was purchased by BMW. And Rover Group actually had all of the legacy British label car names as registered trademarks, including Triumph and Spitfire. So it meant that we had to write to BMW and ask them very nicely if they would grant us permission to use the Spitfire name on Aston Martin.
Okay, interesting letter to write.
It was.
Response?
They granted the license for 8 cars only for the UK market. So anybody that wants to use the Spitfire name on a car again would have to go through the same process, and I have no idea if BMW granted. So it does make them very special because they have that name attached.
So a nice bit of collaboration across the continent.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I should say thank you, BMW.
Thank you, Nick. Absolutely. And of course, as people will understand more and more during the course of the day, there's been an incredible fundraising element to what's happened with these additions of cars. Royal Air Force Association with us today, so please do feel to help and support them. We'll tell you a little bit more about the charity in a few minutes' time. But the aircraft that's with us this morning has been overseen, curated, managed, maintained by an incredible company over at Aston called the Aircraft Restoration Company. And the gentleman very kindly arranged for it to be with us today. You will have seen in the videos overflying and displaying the Spitfire for us at various events over the years. So please welcome to the stage Warbird pilot extraordinaire Mr. John Romain. Welcome, John. Fantastic to have you here. And thank you on behalf of Aston Martin Bristol and Simon's team for allowing that aircraft to come in this morning with a nice spirited arrival. A kind of thing that it's probably rare for you to see it from the ground. You're normally in the air.
Actually, it is. And it's, you know, at Duxton we see them flying a lot, of course. It's always special to see them arrive at an event like this. And hear it as well. I mean, it sounded gorgeous. And it's a completely different sound on the outside than it is on the inside. So
I bet there's a bit more rapid explaining going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, John, tell us briefly a bit of the story of the aircraft that's with us today.
Okay, the one we brought in today is a wartime aircraft, PG-462, a Mark 9. It served in Italy with the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. Was then scrapped like many other aircraft of that era, discovered in a scrapyard in Italy, back to the UK, fully restored, converted into 2 seats, and now it operates with us at Bicester as part of the area of Electric, which is pretty much a pleasure flying business, where you can fly in Spitfires and other types all over Bicester.
And the only one that matters is the Spitfire, surely.
Well, quite. We get a lot more Spitfire bookings than anything else.
Fantastic. As it should be.
As it should be.
Now, there's an incredible connection between the Aircraft Restoration Company and the Spitfire project. I've had the privilege of visiting ARC on a few occasions, and the engineering excellence in that place is incredible. The craftsmanship, the engineering blows the mind. But one of the things that the Aircraft Restoration Company does, because obviously that takes some in flight.
It does. We've got a team of Duxton of 70 people, and the restoration side, you can really call them artists. I mean, the work they do is phenomenal. So there's a lot of, obviously, the sheet metal skills, the old engineering skills are all there. We have our own apprenticeships, so we bring in the youngsters through that programme, so that we have engineers there for the future. That runs really well. And from an age average, if you look across the industry, we've got probably the youngest of all the other people. So they're great guys, they work hard at it, they're very, very talented at it. In all, we look after 60 to 70 aeroplanes. So
all vintage aircraft,
all different footage. So there's a lot of Spitfires, of course. Yeah. We also look after Hurricanes, Mustangs, Blenheim, which is one of our aircraft. Of course, the Blenheim has a lot of attachments to Bicester. Blenheim is with us. A lovely fleet of aeroplanes that we always keep in top condition, but it takes a lot of work.
Now, I alluded to some special things with these Spitfire edition cars, because I understand there are three particular things that your engineers contributed to these Spitfires.
Yeah, there was. When Simon came to us with the idea and the concept of producing a Spitfire car, of course the idea was to put into the car something that was real Spitfire, i.e. it was manufactured and fitted by engineers that were doing it to real Spitfire restorations. So the beam travels behind both seats with the lighting on and everything. That is designed from the beam that is behind the pilot's head in the single seat Spitfire, where his harness comes through. You see that behind him all the time. So we wrote the program for that to produce it, and we also produced it with the purple heading rivets, with the aluminium rivets that we use in all of the Spitfire restorations. So that was the main piece that you see in those cars. We then looked at the exhaust pipes, and on the Spitfires, especially the Mark I, where we had made the new exhaust from Monel, which is a certain steel outlet, we always put on there a whale oil. So when they first burn on the first start, they go to that lovely, like a bronzy colour.
Yes.
And we thought that would be great for the Spitfire car. And so the Q department sent us all of the exhausts for all 8 cars, just the rear piece. And we treated them just like we would with the Spitfire stacks, but we obviously had to put them in an oven to get the colour there before we sent them back to the factory. So the exhausts are done in that way. And then the third thing, when Simon came to Oxford and looked at the Mark I, all of the Merlin engines fitting to the Spitfires have got a firing order plate that is on the crankcase. So you have the part number of the engine, serial number, its modification state plate. But next to that is a firing order plate. And we decided that would be a wonderful thing to also have in the car, but with the firing order of the Aston, not the Spitfire.
Right, okay, so there's a difference.
There is a difference. And so in the glove compartment you will find the special plates that are firing order.
Fantastic. So Simon, for you, those kind of details, throughout the project, they will matter.
Yes, and the three features that John's just mentioned there are just the tip of the iceberg, because the car is absolutely packed full of really cool details like that we've added to the Spitfire. And actually, I'd say the thing that all of us that were involved with this project are most proud of is the fact that out of that 8-car project, we donated £40,000 to one of the RAF charities, and that was really the start of sort of
Philanthropic.
thank you. Element of these programs. Yeah.
These two again. It's not exactly high-end car journalism.
You know, the remake.
Yeah, I thought they were like a 700-800 grand car, but more like 4. Yeah,
I suddenly feel very old. 50-year anniversary of the VW Polo. block your ears.
Yeah, that's a lot for a 1 litre.
It is a lot.
A lot for a 1 litre. Three grand more, you get a GTI.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Top
It's
Gear.
it's
Eat your heart out.
R-line, so it's like probably fully spec'd out. It looks like they've gone back to the kind of older generation. Look, they've made a bit of a mess before, putting loads of touch controls on the steering wheel, but that one's got buttons.
Yep, that one's got buttons.
Don't want to feel left out.
Lots more from the 2025 Bicester Scramble soon. Please like, subscribe, and most importantly, enjoy. We appreciate your time and thanks for watching.